Hey everybody, welcome to our event today. We are going to be walking through the Help Center, getting some free downloadable materials, some resources for you to utilize in your classroom with your students, either this week or in the future. And we're also going to be playing Duolingo Trivia for a chance to win some Duolingo swag. But everyone who is here and stays with me throughout the session is going to actually get a gift. So you'll get an email from me after the session of some Duolingo goodies, so we could show how much we love and appreciate our world language teachers. So thanks for joining me live. Let me know in the chat if you're here. Introduce yourself. Let me know what language you teach, how long you've been teaching, how long you've been using Duolingo in the classroom, whether or not you're new to Duolingo and you might have some questions. Feel free to utilize that chat function throughout the session and ask questions and start talking to one another. For those of you who don't know me, I'll introduce myself quickly. My name is Bridget. I work with Duolingo for Schools. I run our Educators Network, which is our Facebook group, our private Facebook group of teachers from around the world who utilize Duolingo. So a little later, I'm going to invite you to join us. And yeah, I'm here today to just share some resources with you. And again, just let you know how much we appreciate world language teachers. I am a past world language teacher. I taught French for 5 years before I moved to the south of France just last year. So packed up my life and was really itching to fulfill this lifelong dream of mine of living in France. So that's where I am now. So please introduce yourself in the chats. It is just me up here, so I'll do my best to pause periodically, take a look at the chat, see if there are any questions at all. But if for any reason I don't get to your questions, I'll make sure that I send you an email afterwards and answer any questions you have. But yeah, let me know a little bit about yourselves. Start talking to one another. You can see as well that there is some reaction buttons, as well as you could tag people and have a conversation amongst yourselves as well. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to be doing is just a quick little tour of the Help Center. So if you've never seen the Help Center before, I wanted to look around together. If you would like, with your cell phone, you could scan this QR code and you could pull it up and walk through it while we do it live. But in the future, if you need some you need some help as to how to find the Help Center, you could always find it on the left-hand side of your teacher dashboard where it says Help. So we see this in this image here. We see the arrow pointing to that. That's going to take you right to our Help Center. So let's take a look at our Help Center now. A couple things I wanted to point out to you. So here it is. This is the Help Center. There's a couple things, as I mentioned, I want to point out. The first thing is this Contact Us. So I want you to utilize this anytime you need to contact us, of course, especially if you have any bugs or any issues with your account, whether that be your teacher account or any student accounts. You could be including, a description of the issue. Please include your username and, if possible, any screenshots. So you could include those as attachments here. So that'd be really helpful for our support team to take a look to see what's going on with your account. So anytime you have, any issues that you are facing, please feel free to submit a request there. Or if you'd like some general feedback, you could submit a request there as well. Other than that, some other things that I wanted to actually show you, the news and updates. If you don't get our newsletter, this is a great place to go for any updates and news as to what's going on in Duolingo. So you could always take a look there to see what's going on. I also want to point out our professional development. So here you're going to find any of our upcoming professional development sessions. I run these sessions every week, so you're always going to have something new here. So feel free to click in. For example, next week, I'm going to be talking about brain breaks and the science behind brain breaks and why they're so important for our students. And we'll also be sharing some Duolingo created brain breaks. So feel free to join us next week. So if I click in here, I'm able to register, read a little bit about it, and see any related material. So you could do that for any session, any of our upcoming sessions. I also run, if you're new to Duolingo for Schools, I do run weekly Duolingo for Schools one-on-one sessions. You could see that information here and how to register. And then I have all of our past professional development sessions. So I've run sessions on anything from gamification in the classroom utilizing Duolingo to lowering the effective filter with Duolingo, creating a student streak society in your classroom and utilizing the streak feature to motivate your students. I've also talked about how to utilize the podcast in your classroom, etc. So a lot of different past PD sessions. You're able to click in any of these and see the recording of our session, as well as see any and download any related material. So you're welcome to poke around there anytime. And then lastly, this is something new. If you're interested in training other teachers with utilizing Duolingo for Schools, and you want to deliver your own Duolingo for Schools PD session, you could see some information there. So this is something that we are getting ready to relaunch our Duolingo for Schools ambassador program in the future. So this is a great way to get involved and start fulfilling those prerequisites to be an ambassador for us in the future. It's also a great way to get more Duolingo swag. So I'm sending some of the teachers who are leading PD, I'm going to be sending you additional swag for you and your students. So click in there anytime to read a little bit more about that. So other than that, you're also going to find a lot of information, FAQs, course and curriculum, logging in, account management, etc. But one of the big ones I wanted to show you today are these resources for teachers. So if we click in here, you're going to see a lot of information as to how to get started, some printables, a sample letter to families, which would be really beneficial to send to families to let them know what you're utilizing in class, some tools for teachers, for students, games, and a lot of resources specifically around listening, speaking, reading, writing, and then those brain breaks that I'm going to be talking about next week. So you're able to click in there and download any of these resources. These games are super cute. This customizable game board, for example, is really cute. All these little pieces that you could print out and utilize to play a game in your classroom. There's a lot of different other types of games and group activities and directions around those. So take a look at those, download those, and get started utilizing those in your class. There's a couple in particular that I actually want to take a look at with you. Actually, the first one is going to be our Valentine's Day cards. So I know Valentine's Day already passed this week, but if you're interested, we do have Valentine's Day cards. So if you already had your celebration, don't worry. You could bookmark this page or download these and save these for next year, for example. So here's a picture of them, as well as a picture of them in action with someone this week who celebrated Valentine's Day with their students. And the next couple of things that I want to share with you are actually exclusive. You're one of the first people to hear about these resources before that they get sent out through our newsletter. The first one is our sub plans. So we created these quick printable sub plans that include a really nice place to write helpful information for your sub, classroom information, as well as an idea for a daily activity and an enrichment activity, and then a cute report for your sub to fill out afterwards. So you could see the sub had the ability to rate their day and circle Duo to see which one corresponds with how the day went and get some information about that. Thanks, everybody. I'm glad everyone seems to be liking it so far. So let's click into the sub plans and see even more, because this isn't the only page for the sub plan. So I'm going to click into it on our Help Center. You're going to find it all here to download. So there's even more than this. So if I click into this PDF, I could see all of these sub plans. So this first one here is the image that I just showed you. So this is just an activity utilizing Duolingo for Schools and completing a whole unit on Duolingo for Schools, and then an enrichment activity for the vocab. This is what that enrichment activity would look like, asking your students to be, categorizing these words, not categorizing these words. They're going to be writing the word, the definition, and then doodling, and then, drawing out a word, which is especially beneficial for our creative learners. Then we have a podcast substitute plan. So you could be really maximizing those Duolingo podcasts with a sub with your students. We have our Duolingo podcast listening notes that would go along with that. This one specifically is blank, the activities and enrichment activities. So that way you could fill out ahead of time what you would like your sub to do with your class. So you're able to fill that out, whatever you prefer for them to do, and then they have the same cute little report there at the bottom. These are some substitute activity cards, which I think are really cute. These go hand in hand with our Duolingo stories, which, by the way, if you don't know, the Duolingo stories are available to print as a PDF from your teacher dashboard. So you are able to print any of those PDFs and then be utilizing these little activity cards with your sub to be, shuffling around, choosing a card and asking your students to do something specific around the stories. So that might include a vocabulary sort. So this is that here. So you're sorting out these vocab words by nouns, adjectives, verbs, etc. It could include acting it out. It could include animating it. So you could really do a lot of enrichment activities with these Duolingo stories. So this would be extending the Duolingo story, asking your students to write even more dialogue around that story. This could be them animating it as a comic. I thought that this was really cute. You could have your students add little speech bubbles as to what they're saying in the stories, and then kind of animating it and drawing it out. Here is one specifically of a Culture Quest substitute plan. So you're going to have your students utilize just Google Earth to be looking at some landmarks, and then filling out this landmarks with interesting facts. So a lot to unpack here, a lot of subplans. So we hope that this would be beneficial for the next time you have to be out, or even for emergency subplans. I remember when I was teaching, I always had to, beginning of the year, create an emergency subplan folder and had to leave it at the front desk with the office, just in case, of course, for an emergency. So I'm sure all of you have to do that as well. So this is a really good option for that. So a lot going on there with the subplans. I am going to, you could find that in your Help Center, as I mentioned, but I will actually be sharing that handout now. It should be popped up on your screen, so you're able to download that directly and get started using that. The next thing that I wanted to show you is actually our a Duolingo unit plan. So that's just here at the top. So what this is a long-term project of creating a Duolingo unit. So again, if I click here under PDF, I'm able to download all of this information, and we could see a little bit about what this would look like. So we have a planning guide here for your students, as well as the directions. So what this would look like is your students are going to be creating a Duolingo unit based upon a certain topic or a certain grammar point that you want them to focus on, whether that be, you want to utilize this unit as, to accompany a specific unit that you're focusing on. For example, if you have a house and home unit and you're focusing on past tense verbs, you could be asking your students to be creating a Duolingo unit around those specific themes. Or, for example, you might want to just ask your students to choose what grammar point and what topic they personally want to focus on to kind of boost their understanding of that topic or grammar point. So here is our planning guide, so a little checklist for them. So your students are going to be creating a unit guidebook to go along with that. So they could be clicking into the Duolingo unit guidebook, seeing a little bit about what those entail, including key phrases, tips, a description. So they're going to be creating their own guidebook. Then they're going to be creating actually their own activities, both matching, translation, fill in the blank, and read and respond. And here we included all of those example question types, so your students will know exactly what they look like. So we see the matching, the translation, fill in the blank, and the read and respond. So they could have an idea as to what they would need to create. And then they'll create their own story. So here we have all of the characters. You're able to cut these out, print these out, paste them, so you create a dialogue between our Project World characters, and they're able to create their own Duolingo story. So this is just a long-term unit plan that you could utilize with your class, and hopefully get them to be focusing on grammar points that might be difficult for them, as well as certain themes and vocab. I'll take a pause there. There's a lot of information. I'm going to see in the chat if there are any questions. Oh, and actually, I'm also in the chat. I'm going to share with you, so you could download this, the Create Your Own Duolingo Unit project, but you could find it in the Help Center. So some people are only seeing me and you're not seeing anything else on your screen. Let me know if everyone else is having that issue. I hope everyone could see my screen and see what I'm sharing. But if not, try maybe logging out and logging back in. But if you're on mobile, yeah, maybe limited screen space. So that's a great point. Yeah, a lot of material for classes. Yeah, where are these items in the Help Center on my phone? I can't see the screen very well. So on the Help Center, so if I click back to the Help Center, I could show you exactly where they are. So here we are in the Help Center. You're going to find all of these under Resources for Teachers. So here we have the tools for teachers. We're going to find the Duolingo unit right at the top here. Below that, we find the Duolingo substitute plans here. And then the next one I'm going to go through is this game under group. It's under game. It's a group activity called Pass It On. You're welcome. You created your own Jamboard. Awesome. Great to hear. Yeah, resources for teachers all here. Good questions, everyone. Thank you. So let me show you this last resource. I know there's a lot here, a lot to unpack, but this next one too, I'm really excited about. And I hope when I explain it that I explain it well. But essentially it's a group writing activity, a little game there. So again, if I click into here, I'm able to scroll down and click download and download this PDF, and you could see all of the accompanying materials with it. So here are the description, the steps, and some tips as well. So essentially how this game would work, this activity, it's called Pass It On. So you're going to have two groups. You're going to divide your class and you're going to number the students in each group, 1 through 10, for example, if you have a class of 20, for example. So that means that both groups are going to have a partner with the same number. So there'll be double numbers, and that person on the other group who has their number will be their partner. So how it's going to work is you as a teacher, you're going to choose one of these cards. So we made these little game cards. You're going to cut these out. You're going to choose a theme for your students. You don't have to cut them out, by the way. You could just be projecting them on your screen, save some paper. You could choose a theme, one of these cards for your students. And what you're going to do is you're going to ask your students to write a story around that theme. But how it's going to work is it's going to be written one sentence at a time, and you won't be able to see each other's sentences except your partners. So we have different printables as to how you could be structuring this game. You could be utilizing this large piece of paper because you could just do this as even just a singular writing activity. You could, as a teacher, be showing this and asking everyone to write a story about it. But if you wanted to play a game around it, you could be utilizing this, for example. So how it would work is partner 1. So for example, the student in group 1, number 1, they're going to write their group number at the bottom. They're going to start the story. They're going to write a sentence at the top here. Then after they write their sentence, they're going to pass it on to their partner. So they're going to pass it on to group 2, student 1. So their partner with the same number. And that second partner is going to write one sentence following up the sentence that their partner wrote. So they're only going to see their partner's sentence. And then after those are all written, you as a teacher will collect all of these. You'll see the group numbers 1 through 10, for example, if you have 10 students in each group, and you're going to read the story in order. So it's going to get really silly and really funny because only the partners are going to see one another's sentences, and nobody else will know what was written. So it's going to be really kind of funny and weird and strange and make no sense. So this is that idea of pass it on and kind of write a silly story that's making no sense. So an enrichment activity for this would be for you to then have your students act it out, right? Your students afterwards can kind of read these stories out loud, read this dialogue and act it out and create a little scenario around this. You could also have your students speak this. It would be interesting to kind of get into a circle and have your students, speak a sentence one after another and kind of get a little silly and strange with it. So this is that idea of pass it on. Please let me know if there's a better way that I could explain this game, or if there's something in addition that would make this game interesting and fun. But another pro tip would be you could utilize these game cards for anything. As I mentioned, you could utilize them just as a writing, individual writing scenario for your students. Ask your students all to be writing a story around this. You could utilize these as speaking cards and have your students create scenarios and a discussion between two students or between you and them as well, and be describing these scenarios and situations. So you could be utilizing these game cards in any different way. So if you have additional ways as to utilize this, please let me know in the chat. So a lot of information, a lot of resources, a lot of things here that you could download. Let me make sure that I share this with you as well, so you could download it easily right away. So that'll pop up on your screen. Yeah, you could stipulate a time, make it 1 minute, swap with a friend, absolutely make it kind of quick, and see, what silly things come about. Absolutely. Any other questions? Yeah, the scenes are so cute, and so much to unpack there. So many different things, scenarios and dialogue that you could be creating around these stories. Your students could get super creative. So I really hope that they enjoy it. And as I mentioned, if there's any other unique ways that you end up utilizing this resource, I would love to hear about it in the Educators Network. But that's just about it. And we have about 9 minutes or so. So I wanted to play some Duolingo trivia with everyone if you are interested. Let me just make sure that I share everything that I wanted to share. Yes. So I guess a quick recap, I'll just say that we really appreciate you, of course. Connect with us anytime. Let us know what kind of resources and features that you would need in the future, as well as sign up for some teacher-led PD and get some Duolingo swag and become a future Duolingo for Schools ambassador. But next is I want to play some Duolingo trivia. So we're going to play some trivia in Kahoots. The top 3 winners will win some additional Duolingo swag. So in addition to what you're already getting for joining me live today. So everyone go to kahoots.it. If you haven't played before, in just a moment, I'm going to bring up a code for you to join when you go to kahoot.it. So excuse me as I launch this. There we go. It's going to load the game pin for you. And here we are. So if everyone goes to kahoots.it, you enter the game pin 418137. We could start playing some Duolingo trivia. Awesome. I don't know if you could hear the music on my end. You might not be able to hear it. All right, let me make sure. All right, so everyone who wants to join and have a chance to win even more Duolingo swag, join us at www.kahoot.it. Pin code is 418137. 418137. This is going to be all questions based upon Duolingo, some trivia questions for you. So we have 13, so I'll wait for a couple more people are going to join us. 418137 is our game pen. So anyone else wants to play a quick game of Kahoot with me? I think that's everyone. Are we waiting for anyone? I think everyone's here. I'm going to start. Are you ready? All right, I'm going to start. So if you aren't familiar with Kahoot, it's both the speed to which you answer the question, how fast you can answer the question, as well as whether or not the question is correct. So here we go, some Duolingo trivia. Good luck. And if you're joining us late too, you're able to join still kahoot.it. And that game pin is going to pop up in just a moment at the bottom. Yep, 418137. So when was Duolingo created? What year was it created? Anyone joining us late, game pin 418137, kahoot.it. So when do you think Duolingo was created? It was created in 2012. So if you're joining me on mobile, you'll have to look at my screen. And wait, are you on? You might be on mobile for everything. So I'll try to say out loud the colors and their answers for you so you could see it. So Duolingo was created in 2012. So we recently celebrated 10 years, a whole decade of Duolingo. Good job, everyone. So next, I just need to navigate over to the screen. There we go. So I'm going to try my best to narrate for you so you could be joining us if you are on mobile. Okay, so next question is, which celebrity does Dua love in her TikTok video? So green is Elvis Presley, blue, Dua Lipa, yellow, Harry Styles, red, Lady Gaga. So red, Lady Gaga, blue, Dua Lipa, yellow, Harry Styles, green, Elvis Presley. So which celebrity does Dua love in our TikTok videos? So if you've seen any of our TikToks, you will know. Dua Lipa. So Dua was in love with Dua Lipa. Good job. Next question is, why is Duo green? So red, to annoy the co-founder and CTO, Severin Hacker, who hates the color green. Blue, because green owls are cute, quirky, and weird. Yellow, a vote was taken, and green was decided to be the color for their new mascot. And green, there is a rare species of owl that are green, called the Duo owl. So it is red. So it's to annoy the co-founder and CTO, Severin Hacker, who hates the color green. So apparently Severin Hacker said specifically anything but green. And so they decided to make Duo green to annoy him. Which of the following was one of the rules in Duolingo's first employee handbook? So red, do not eat other people's lunches. Blue, yes to doggies in office, but if they pee, they can't come for a month. Yellow, say good morning to everybody when you arrive. And green, if your dog poops, they can't come for 2 months. So which one of these was a rule in Duolingo's first employee handbook? Yeah, all of them. All of these were actually rules in Duolingo's first employee handbook. And yes, doggies are still allowed in the office. Good job. Next one. Our research has shown that on average it takes how many hours of Duolingo to learn the equivalent of 1 semester of college? So how many hours of Duolingo does it take to learn the equivalent of 1 semester of college? Red is 64, blue 34, yellow 100, green 150. 34. So it takes on average about 34 hours to learn the equivalent of 1 semester of college on Duolingo. See the scoreboard here. Next question. Which was an original name of Duolingo? So we have red, bilanguage, blue, monolingual, yellow, flute, and green, dual languages. Was one of the original names of Duolingo. What were they thinking to call Duolingo before Duolingo came about? So both monolingual and flute, these are 2 possible names that they were thinking of calling Duolingo. Next, we're seeing the scoreboard change there. Which was the original Duo? So you really have to see the screen for this one, I'm sorry. So because you need to see the pictures of Duo and try to figure out which was the original Duo. So we have red, we have Duolingo, green at the bottom there, we have some feathers. Blue, we have Duolingo on the side, we have his wings standing up. Trying my best to narrate that. So green is the correct answer. So it's we had Duo that created the D and the O creates his eyes, and then the U, of course, his beak there, and then some little white feathers there. So that was the original Duolingo. Scoreboard's changing. Next question. How many daily active users have a streak of more than 365 days? And I actually need to update this because just yesterday I saw some updated information on this. But this one's tough. So last year, the daily active users that had a streak of more than 365 days was 1 million people. But actually, I just saw information yesterday that it is now 3 million people. So I need to update this one. But last year, it was only 1 million people. So that's in 1 year, 2 million extra people have been studying for over a year on Duolingo, which is really impressive. Next question. Where is Duolingo's headquarters located? So red, is it in Detroit, Michigan? Blue, is it in Seattle, Washington? Yellow, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and green, New York City, New York. Where is our headquarters located? So no, it's not Seattle, Washington. It's actually Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, is where the headquarters are located. I don't know why there's two checked right. Sorry about that. But all the other ones, we do have offices there, but the headquarters is located in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Okay, second to last questions. What is Duocon exactly? Red, is it an annual global event that intersects language, learning, and technology? Blue, a monthly event for language learners. Yellow, a biannual event designed for language learners. Or green, a Duolingo annual movie conference. What exactly is Duocon? Red, it is an annual global event that intersects language, learning, and technology. And last question. See the scoreboard change there. When and where was the first Duocon ever held? When and where was the first Duocon ever held? Was it in red, 2017 Pittsburgh, blue, 2019 London, yellow, 2019 New York City, or green, 2017 in New York City? So the first Duocon, when and where? So blue, 2019 in London. 2019 in London. You would think Pittsburgh, right? Since that's where our headquarters are, but no, first one ever was in London. All right, so let's see who is our top three. So we have Nat, good job, congrats. Young, good job, congrats. And first, Manuel, awesome job, everyone. I will be reaching out to you so you get your Duolingo swag, but I'm going to be sending emails to everyone. Everyone's going to get some little goodies today. So great job. 7. Great job, everybody. I hope that you learned a little bit. I hope that some of these resources will be useful as well for your classroom. But if you could think of anything else that you'd like to see in the future, any other resources that would be beneficial, please don't hesitate to let us know. Join us in our Educators Network on Facebook as well. Let me drop the link just in case any of you are not in our Educators Network already. Here's the link. So join us. Let us know what you'd like to see in the future. If there are any questions, I just see one. Are there going to be any additional supplemental materials for French podcasts? There are only 6 episodes. We love these. Yeah, absolutely. I can definitely shoot some feedback to the team. Let them know that you would like to see some additional features and resources around the podcast episodes, because yeah, you're right, there's only up to 6 episodes as you mentioned, and they are really wonderful, all those accompanying questions with them, both in the target language and in English. So I'll definitely let the team know that you'd be interested in some additional printable resources for those. Thanks, everybody. I will send everyone an email. Everyone's getting some gifts so we could let you know how much we appreciate our teachers. And I hope to see you in our Educators Network or at a future event. Next week, for example, we're talking all about brain breaks and the science behind brain breaks and seeing some resources around that. Thank you, everybody. And if I didn't if I missed any questions, if I didn't answer any questions, I'll make sure to reach out to you as well. Thank you. See you then. Bye, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day.